For those who've been on before, if you're looking for, oops, this is, sorry, a screen popped up. If you're looking for something, please let us know. If you got something you want to sell, let us know. Anybody have anything they're looking to sell or buy?
Normally, there's a few more people at this session, and I'm normally fairly quiet.
Yeah. All right.
But I'll sort of kick things off by saying I'm always looking for properties that I can rehab on the eastern side of Monroe County. And the reason why I picked the eastern side is a little bit shorter distance for me to travel to the property. And I'll do a rehab in Buffalo if the numbers work. But typically, you know, I want to be on the eastern side of the city or in Webster, where I live, or Penfield, or any of those places. So if you have a property that you're looking to wholesale, or one that you have some connection to, and even if I can just provide you some thoughts and inputs around how you might do it, that transaction, then give me a call. Everybody knows my name, and if it don't, just look it up on the website, and my phone number and things will be there. So I can put it in the chat box for those people as well. So that's my kickoff to this portion of the discussion.
Perfect. Anybody else?
Hey everyone, I'm Dom. I'm looking for buy and holds in 14609 if you have them. Anything, just like Leon said.
Dom, where was it? 14609 you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
14609. I'll also consider the 19th ward if the deal is right. You know, if the numbers work, but I'm really looking for the 14609 rehabs. Value adds.
Are you looking for two families over there?
Looking for single family and two family, and also commercial.
I got a friend of mine who may want to get rid of one over there right on Blossom Road. He's just starting to rehab, but
I'll text
I
you.
may possibly. I talked to him yesterday actually. So if you want to reach out to me, I'll get you guys in contact.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else?
Joe, as always, my name is Gabriel, and I'm looking for storage anywhere in the U.S., any size, any shape, any form. I'll put my number in the chat box as well, and please bring them to me. Anywhere in the U.S., it doesn't matter how big or small. Well, anything above, ideally above 10,000 square feet. So anything down and above.
Okay. I don't know if you were in Tennessee.
No, I'm not part of the insiders group.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. All right.
Not yet. I don't know.
All right. Anyone else?
Hi, this is Mary Ann. Haven't been on in a while. How you doing? I'm out in the Finger Lakes.
Beautiful.
I'm looking for multifamily and storage out this way. And yeah, so I have a couple opportunities I think that are coming up, and also in storage as well. Locally, I have to follow up on a couple leads, but yeah, so I'm out in the boondocks here in Geneva.
You're in Geneva. Will you do Bloomfield, Canandaigua area?
I have a duplex. I own a duplex in Canandaigua right now that's doing very well.
I know a guy he's looking to get rid of. They're not super great prices, but he's got a package of 15 properties.
Whoa.
He's looking to get rid of, but these are not super low prices. I mean, they're below market value, but they're all rented, but I don't know if that's going to interest you or not.
And he's trying to package them up as 15, or is he peeling them off one by one?
No, I think he may actually do them one at a time also.
I mean, I'm always interested in looking, although ideally I'm looking 10 to 20 units at this point in one building, but But I have some connections out here. People are interested. So,
Reach out to me
Okay.
and we'll see what we can do here.
all right, thanks.
No problem. Anyone else?
Mary Ann, could you put your information in the chat box so that, I knew
Sure
of
will.
one of someone who was trying to get rid of some property in the area that you had just talked about. If I can, I'll do a double check, and then if that's still available, I'll send that over to you.
Okay, sounds good.
Anyone else? I know I'm looking for pretty much, I'll do commercial residential properties, singles, multis, apartments, also storage. And I also will look at some industrial. So if anyone ever comes across anything, please feel free to reach out. I'm trying to see if I have anything available right now. I'm not really too sure yet. We'll see. Got to check in, I guess, but that's what I'm looking for right now. Everyone got their haves, wants, and needs put out. Perfect. All right. I know we got the morning calls usually a little bit small, a little bit more intimate, which I kind of sometimes like, because at least that way we're able to actually get into some nitty gritty stuff. I always like to start out because I also want to keep it interactive. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they'd like to go over first? And by the way, everything we talk about, definitely touch base with your accountant, definitely with your attorney. Don't take what we say as gospel. We'll give you, again, what may work for us may not work for you and vice versa. So we want to make sure that, whatever you decide to do, remember, it's you, it's your butt on the line. So make sure you talk to your attorney and talk to your accountant, please. Okay. But that being said, does anybody have any question, anything they want to go over? If you have a deal or something you have a question on, please feel free to ask.
I got one, Joe.
Go ahead.
I haven't been on the meetings in a while, so this may have been covered, but with the way the market is developing and has been, how are you overcoming approaching sellers and getting, really good prices on deals? When you're going direct to seller for either if you're keeping them for yourself or you're wholesaling them, like what are some strategies that you are using, if you care to share, that maybe we can implement when we're calling sellers, things like that?
Okay. The last meeting we had, there was a girl, we literally ran out of time because there were just so many questions. It was great questions. And one of them was basically pertaining to exactly what you just asked them. And there was a story that I didn't get a chance to get to, which will actually answer that question, because I just went through, that's just one of them, just so that way, like for me, some of you don't know, I do a ton of wholesaling. I also flip, I buy, I hold, we do it all. Okay. Right now we've got an ungodly amount of properties under contract. We're finding them. And with what you're talking about, Dom, it can be difficult. Okay. It's just the way, there's a certain way that I talk to and approach people that are going to be different from other people. And I'll tell you a story. Okay. About 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now, there was a gentleman reached out to me. Okay. He was selling a 3-family property in the Maplewood area. So 3,000 plus square foot house, great condition, worth about $230,000 all day long. By the way, can you guys still hear me? Oh,
you're
can
fine,
you guys
Joe.
hear me?
Yeah, you're fine,
Yes.
Joe. You're coming through.
All right. Sorry. My phone rang and I had to, you guys are way more important than a phone call. So and by the way, if you can't hear me, please say something. So basically this gentleman reached out to me and his name was Steve. Nice guy, super nice guy. This place was in great shape. So he's talking to me and for me, whenever I talk to people, because a lot of the times too, we'll call people direct also. Okay. And I had the exact same conversation I had with them. Now, if I'm talking to somebody, we call them direct. We basically ask them, say, listen, you know, my name is Joe LaBarbera, or actually, if we have the VAs do it, say, listen, we have a partner of ours who's looking to buy properties in that area there. We're not real estate agents. We like that area. We want to be very respectful of your time. We're interested, like to know if you're interested in possibly selling your property. Okay. And that way it's just no, you know, it's not like, hey, I want to buy your property. You want to buy your property. Okay. This gentleman, what ended up happening was when he called me, you know, he had an experience with a different wholesaler. And believe it or not, his name is also Joe. Okay. And so there's actually 3 Joes in this whole story, but the bottom line is that the gentleman who the first Joe who he talked to offered him $125,000 for the property. I knew this because he told me, and he showed me the purchase offer when I went to go meet with him. What he liked was that, number one, I could tell from his conversation was that he had a huge emotional attachment to the property. And I always like to find out about that. Now, I went in and I offered this gentleman $110,000, $15,000 lower than the first Joe. And by the way, I got the contract. Okay. Even though, and the guy, which is kind of nuts, even after he accepted mine, that guy, that first Joe didn't even know that he was talking to me. And the guy called him back, says, actually, I'm going to offer you 120 now, which was kind of comical, even though he still took my offer at the original $15,000 less. And one of the things that this gentleman said to me was that I actually listened to him, whereas the other Joe just treated it like numbers. He went in there very non-personable. He didn't sit down with a guy. And you could tell that I knew right from the pictures when he called me, I always go on Google Maps. I want to see the house. I want to see what it looks like. And I could see the trellis in the front. So I could tell, and I could see the little gardens on the side. This guy was very, very emotionally attached to this house. And as soon as I started talking about that, he opened up, and he actually kept me on the phone for almost 30 minutes. And I ended up going to meet with him the very next day. I was there for, oh my God, I was there for an hour and a half, but it was a big building and well worth it. But, and hopefully, and by the way, if you guys have questions with this, please feel free to interject. Hopefully I'm not jumping around too much. When I ended up meeting with him, and I'm going to go over this, I break people down into 4 different personality types, but I could tell that he just was, he wanted to know what his first words out of his mouth is, what is your vision for this house? And that right there told me everything I needed to know. And after having the conversation, he obviously ended up taking my offer. Now, that total 2 hours conversation between the phone call and meeting with him, we're going to put probably about $25,000, maybe $30,000 into this place. The roof is new, siding is new, the place is beautiful. It's a 2, and a 1, in unbelievable shape. It's worth about $230,000. You guys can do the math. Okay. Just because of that conversation. Now, Dom, before I get into this, when you're talking to people, what are they telling you or what are you saying to them, Dom, whenever you're on the phone with some of these people?
Well, so it's very similar. I mean, there's been times I've been on the phone for 45 minutes just listening, and they'll get off subject, and I just listen, and I'll respond, but they're always just so hard set because a real estate agent already got to them,
Yeah.
and they're saying, like, there was one in the wedge I was working on, and it was a 2-family, and I thought I was going to have it locked up around $100,000, but
Mhm.
she said that, it sounds good and I would take that offer, but a real estate agent told me this is easily worth 165.
Okay.
So, and it was a 1-1 in the wedge. So
Wow.
that's 65 seems like a hard sell there for a 1-1 in the wedge, but
Yeah.
but the agents tell them anything nowadays to get that list.
Yeah.
No offense if anyone's an agent on this call.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I tell people, Dom, and I told this gentleman, I told him like 10 times, I go, you do realize you're going to make way more money with a real estate agent. You do realize this, right? And I had to keep telling him that. I said, listen, I'll even recommend you to agents. I don't get paid for it. I don't want to get paid for it. And he goes, I know that. I just don't want to deal with bringing people through, them doing the inspections, them maybe not qualifying this, that. I just want convenience. I go, you're going to make way more money. He goes, I get it. I just want convenience. I want somebody who's going to be honest and straightforward with me. Okay. And Dom, when you talk to these people, do you ever ask them what they do?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I try to be very personable, right? And really just trying to know them and why they want to sell. And this one, for example, very emotional attachment. The house is paid off, and rents are super low. She's super worried about certain things. She doesn't want to sell or seller finance the deal or anything that way, and I try and educate her on certain things, but not go too deep into it at a very high level, because I don't want to feel like I'm selling, yeah, I mean, these are it's just tips that, that can help. I'll just, obviously keep going at it and keep following up with the sellers, but
yeah,
I mean, myself and others that I know are trying with the market. So I was just wondering.
Well, here's the thing. For me, whenever I talk to people, I break people down into 4 different types of categories. And I've talked about this before: whales, dolphins, sea urchins, and sharks. Okay. And I don't talk to each, I talk to each one of them differently. A whale, that's why I like to find out what they do, who they are. A whale is somebody who likes to help people. Those are counselors, doctors, nurses, caretakers. Sea urchins. Sea urchins are people who are numbers oriented, CPAs, accountants, bankers, engineer, and all those, those types of things. Dolphins are people who like to travel, like to have fun, adventurous. And then there's sharks. They're money motivated. Okay. If I talk to somebody who's a nurse who's trying to get rid of stuff or whatever, I'm not going to have the exact same conversation I have with them if they're what I call a sea urchin, somebody who's an engineer. Okay. Engineers want to talk numbers. They want to know about, okay, the conversation I would have with an engineer, I'd be like, listen, I know you're looking to get this much for this property at the same time. Here's what I can offer you. And here's why. And then you can also take that money, invest it somewhere else, and maybe get a higher rate of return. Because this right here, obviously, depending on what the situation is either keeping you from making that rate of return, is keeping you stuck, or this eventually is not going to put you in a better position. This at least by doing something a little bit differently, taking that money, you'll be able to make a higher rate of return. Maybe be able to get, be able to put that investment to better work. Okay. If I'm talking to somebody who is a whale, they don't want to hear about rates of return. Whales like to help people. I'm like, okay, why do you want to sell? And they're looking for the same outcome. It's just a different language. Some of these people, when I talk to, they want to take that money, invest to be able to help their kids. Okay, they want to be able to do something. And I said, okay, look, I know you're looking to get this much for the property. Here's what I can offer you. Here's why. And you can take that money. So let's just say it was $100,000 and you want to help your son or your child go to college or pay for this. At least that way, if you need the $20,000, $30,000, you'll be able to take that money out, be able to send your kid to college, be able to take the rest of that money, put it someplace else, make interest, make a higher rate of return. And then I asked, say, listen, do you have another son or daughter looking to college? Yes, absolutely. 2 or 3 years behind that. Great. At least you'll have that chunk of money there waiting for them and accruing interest. Okay. So it's the same conversation, but just 2 different languages is what I use. Okay. And if I talk to somebody and I know they're kind of like, and they want to travel and they want to do stuff. And because I've had it happen to me. I was in California one time and I had to get a plumber. Okay. 3,000 miles away. And I have the exact same conversation. I say, listen, obviously, I know you're looking to get this. At the same time, here's what I can offer you. Here's why. Okay. And for me, number one, I'll be able to give you cash. Number 2, while you're traveling, while you're skiing, while you're doing whatever it is you want to do, you don't have to worry about getting that phone call about trying to find a plumber, no heat, having a problem with a tenant or whatever else. Okay. And then you could take that money, put it someplace else, invest it, and be able to fund your trips, be able to fund your ventures, be able to fund whatever it is you're looking to do. Okay. So, I'm not telling you to do what I do as a be all to end all. Okay. It's just those are some of the things that I do. And it's not, please don't think of it as trying to manipulate people. You're trying to communicate better with people. The better you get in communicating with them, the more apt they're going to be to want to do business with you. That gentleman who took my offer right off the gate at $15,000 less was because I figured out who he was, what kind of personality he had, and he just felt completely comfortable. Okay. And by the way, he texted me last week and he spent $350 installing a halogen light in the back, which he did not at his own expense. He did not have to do that.
Wow.
He goes, listen, I want to make sure I appreciate what you're doing. And I was blown away. I said, listen, stop doing the work. You're not there to, we're going to take care of it. Okay. So, and by the way, when you deal with somebody who's a shark mentality, they're money motivated. Most of them just don't care. They just want to see the money. Okay. They'll take $5 more. It doesn't matter. Okay. And then people have a mix. Some people may have a whale, shark mentality or whatever. So you got to be able to figure that out. Those little nuances is what can help you be able to get a deal or be able to connect to people versus somebody else. By the way, any questions up to this point so far? I hate doing all the talking.
Let me just interject a second, if it's okay.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, we have a small group here, but hopefully this is being recorded and you can come back and look at it later. Of all the discussions that you've heard this year, if you are in this area where you are making offers, you are buying properties, the discussion that Joe Barbera just gave you is one of the most important that you're going to have this year. It is absolutely marvelous. And the reason why I say that is because of the fact that, like a number of people on this call, I've been doing real estate investing for a while. I've seen the good and the bad. I know the components that really separate folks from others, particularly when it comes to having someone accept an offer. And it applies to storage units as well as it does any other components of real estate investing, where you're making an offer and you're getting someone to actually accept the offer that you're making. And it's one of those things where it can't be like a sterile discussion, because if it's all clean and sterile, then 99% of the time, Joe Lababera can come to that same person and have a discussion with them, and you're just going to lose. And the reason why you're losing isn't necessarily, as Joe indicated in his last example, the fact that the offer that is being presented, yours is not good. If you look at it from a dollar standpoint in his example, it was actually better. But the piece that a lot of folks miss is we are humans talking to humans. So you want to make this connectivity to that person so that they feel a commitment to you as an individual and as a person. So, I mean, my key point would be to folks, go back and listen to the discussion that Joe just went through and listen to it over and over again. Because when it really comes down to the point, the key point is people want to connect with people that they're comfortable with. They want to connect with people that they feel are going to deliver on the things, one, that they want to do, and two, they are capable of completing the deal. And so you need to make sure as an individual out there, as a real estate investor, presenting to folks that they feel as comfortable with you as possible. And I've told people before, if there are 10 people and I'm one of those 10 and Joe Lababera is there, I'm probably going to be reluctant to make my offer because I know I've lost already.
I don't know
Okay.
about that, Leon.
Because
I don't know about that.
because it becomes, I mean, sometimes people make real estate investing too scientific, okay, too complex. It really is a personal type of thing where you're interacting with someone else and you're getting that person to say, okay, I'm really comfortable with this person. I mean, you want that other person that you're presenting this offer to feel as comfortable with you as you would with your best friend. Because to me, that's the level that you're really at. It's not that the offer is better in all cases. And so to me, this is one of the most important discussions that you really want to understand and review over and over again, regardless of whether you're doing storage units or whether you're trying to get a single family house that's in the wedge, as Dominic mentioned earlier, or whether it's a place somewhere in these here United States and you can't even see the person. Okay, you can't see them face to face and you're doing the deal over the phone. So that's just my quick input.
No, I mean, you're right, Leon. People buy you first and what you have to offer second. Bottom line. Okay. And that is very, very important. And Leon, you're right. And for everybody on here, I don't care if you're doing single family houses. I don't care if you're holding, flipping, commercial, residential, if you're wholesaling, everybody has to have that conversation. Okay. Unless you're an investor who's going direct to the wholesaler and they're doing all this for you, you're going to end up having to have a conversation with somebody. We're all trying to get the exact same thing. Okay. And by the way, this is not I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Believe me, I'm not. It's just that I like to give real life examples. Okay. And this is not the first time that someone has taken an offer from me, which was lower than the other person, because they need to have more confidence in you than they do that other person. Okay. And I've asked them, and like this one example we're talking about, that first Joe, okay, all of a sudden has been trying to call him and call him and call him and call him. And you know, I know who this other guy is, you know, and I told the seller, I said, look, I know who he is. I want to be respectful here. I'm not here stepping any toes. I said, look, he'll get the deal done for you. And by the way, whenever you talk to somebody, I don't care if it's, you know, if they say they're bringing in a realtor or another investor, don't ever talk bad about them. Never. I never do that. You never hear me say, oh my God. Yeah. It just, realistically, they're going to expect you to say that. And, you know, and most people in this business are usually pretty decent, you know, so there's not really too many bad things to say about anybody. And if you do that, it'll just look a heck of a lot better on you. And it also shows that, hey, wow, this person has so much confidence. He's actually saying nice things about his competition. Okay. And Dom or anybody else, anybody have any questions on what we've been talking about here?
Joe, I don't have a question, but can I say something else to kind of like, or
Yeah.
like put on top of what
Please.
you said?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting. And I was thinking about this when you were talking about your story, but you know, we asked about the question of what to say and you know, the 4 types of personalities. But another part I would like to add is patience. You know, it's a general term, but I'm learning this as I go along. And part of listening to what their story, what the person, where they're coming from is being quiet, but also being patient, because even though they haven't said no, and most people, investors want the contract signed today. And I was one of those people. I mean, coming from my background of the restaurant, you know, 30 seconds, you know, to realizing that I have one lead, you know, I've been following since November of last year. I finally got in contact with him yesterday, found out that he's in the middle of a divorce, you know, and he wants to sell to me, but I got to kind of like, you know, be patient, because there's nothing I can do until he gets his ducks in a row or his life in order, so to speak. You know, I got another one since February that has tax liens that she's trying to get out of, you know, and trying to figure out that mess. So what I'm trying to say is that most people want it, you know, I don't know if it's the same thing for residential as opposed to commercial, but you know, the thing is that we got to realize that we have to be patient as well. It might take months, it might take a year, but if we get a successful signed agreement, then it's all worth it in the end. You know, most people will give up after like maybe 3-4 months, not even 3-4 weeks. They're like, oh, I'm not going to call that person anymore. Well, you might have lost out on that opportunity, you know. And the thing is, people will see is if you're patient with those people, you'll develop that relationship with them, because they'll open up more and more, because of, wow, this person really cares about me. He wants to help me out, or she, or whatever, you know. And because they know that you're following up with them, you're on them, you know, you're calling them, you're talking to them. Like these people, I mean, like I said, because I kept up on them, they're telling me their stories. You know, how one's in a divorce, one's in, you know, for this or tax liens. I didn't offer that. I didn't ask for that information, but because I convey like how I care about you, I'm trying to help you out. That's what happens, and that's because I've been patient with them and understanding as well. So those things go hand in hand, I think, you know, and I'm learning that every day. And it's very hard, but I'm learning it though.
I mean, the pieces, Gabriel, that you just brought out, I mean, they're right on point. I mean, when Joe was talking, I was saying to myself some of the same things that you just said. And to me, there are a couple of key pieces to add on. Certainly the one that you just talked about, where I can give you an example. I had this property I was really interested in, so I contacted the seller, the owner of the property, and basically had a discussion with her, and got some of the basic fundamental pieces of the property and what was going on, what was happening. And then what I did was every 2 weeks, I would call her back and I would just touch base with her. And the objective is really to build rapport beyond, I just want to buy your property. Okay, so there were several people who were also interested in the property, but it was like a year and a half later before she told her son was full grown, told her son, okay, I want you to sell this property to Leon. Okay. I've had all the discussions with him, and I want him to be the person that buys the property. And he contacted me and he gave me that input, and we ended up doing the deal. The key piece here is that you want people to always feel really comfortable. And my personal approach, and you probably heard me say this before, when I talk to someone on the phone or meet them in person, when I'm all done with the discussion with them, I want them to leave the room with more self-esteem than when they came into the room. I don't want there to be any questions. I don't want there to be any discomfort on their part. I really think that it becomes a very personal part of real estate investing, and it delineates you very quickly between people who care and people who don't, because people are operating at that point as individuals, and they're looking at what it is that they need to get done and how willing you are to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. Both of you, Leon and Gabe. Plus, it makes you guys look very professional because they know you're following up, and which makes you look even better. You know, we've gotten deals. We even in residential, we found a year and a half later, and it happens all the time. So, in regards to doing that, patience is definitely. And I know we're microwave mentality. We want it yesterday. Okay. And so I get it. You know, especially the bigger deals, the bigger the deal, you know, sometimes what I'm learning, I've had to learn too. I'm still learning every day. You got to have patience. You know, especially going from, you know, when I talk to residential people versus talking to people who own storage facilities, I've been talking to a lot of them. It's a whole different mentality in regards to time. In regards to, well, yeah, okay, you know, we're like, okay, let's go now. You know, but. And by the way, Dom, is this helping you a little bit, or do you have anything you need to add on to this? Because I also want to, and by the way, people, don't be afraid to interject. What I like about these when we have smaller groups like this, because the morning ones are most people work, so we can actually get into a little bit more nitty gritty stuff. So don't be afraid to ask.
I think it's great information, stuff that I've been using. It's just, I love to hear from the pros, you know, the guys that are well more experienced than I am. I work in sales, you know, medical sales, so I'm very personable with people, a lot of the things you said. But I have another question to add on to this, okay?
Go ahead.
I have a friend that his first deal is going to be a home in West Irondequoit.
Okay.
And the seller, I walked through it with him, and the seller was trying to sell us on buying the house. Okay. He was like, you know, I want to back off. I feel like I'm pushing you guys too much to buy it. I mean, it's a home run. He's selling it for $75K in West Irondequoit.
Does it have a roof and walls?
Joe, this house has brand new roof, new windows, new gutters.
Oh my God.
It's a home run. Okay. And
okay.
my buddy is like skeptical, you know, about doing it. And I'm like, listen, I'll pay you a $10K assignment fee just for this house right now, you know, but I really want to get one, you know, but at this house, it's a 3-1, about 1,400 square foot in West Irondequoit. A few homes on the street just sold for like 160. He had said to me, hey, you think I should try and get a lower price? When do you think, and my question to you is, so my question to you is, when is enough enough? I told him absolutely not. You might ruin the deal. You know, the seller came and told us $75K. So when do you feel like enough is enough? When that is, you get the question?
Yeah. A friend of mine who I do stuff with in real estate taught me a very good expression: grateful over greedy. Okay. And you got to be careful because you got to be respectful to people too. Give them what you want. I've seen people do that and then lose the deal. Okay. You know, for all of a sudden they try to get them down for $5,000. And I've had it happen to me. I'm like, because sometimes it's just the investor in us who wants to go in and just, can I just a little bit more? You know, I want to be able to go around the home base twice instead of once, you know? And for $5,000, you know, because this guy, you know, if this place, let me ask you a question: how much work does this place need in price? And as far as money wise, I think 30,000.
No, not even that.
Okay.
I mean, it needs flooring and paint.
Okay. So let's just say he puts 15,000 into this property, 75 plus closing, 80, 95,000. Holding costs will be another 3 or 98. He sells it for 160, probably be higher. Let's make our minimums or maximums. Let's just say a bad day sells it for 150. So that'll be $9,000 in commissions, another $1,500 to say 1,000 for closing. That's 10. He's going to make around $45,000 to $48,000. You don't want to jeopardize that for a couple of $1,000.
Yeah, I tried to explain that to him. I know.
So-
Listen,
So
I'll go there.
Yeah, I have a term that I like to apply to those types of situations.
Uh-huh.
It's called American greed.
Oh, there
Where,
you go.
I mean, you've seen the TV program, but you know, it's you know, you're pushing the envelope too far. You know, it's not really worth the difference. And so my input back to your friend would be, okay, let's just slow down and hold off a bit here. We have a great deal. Let's not get greedy.
Yeah, you're right. And besides, if, you know, all of a sudden, you know, if this guy wakes up and he's just like, okay, these people are trying to take advantage of me. One bad deal or one person causing a ruckus could ruin your real estate career. And, you know, because look, we're in this, we're not in this to make a little, some people are in this to make a little bit of money. Most of us want to make, you know, want to be able to retire, get out of our jobs. So we're talking in the millions. You know, for a few $1,000s, you're going to jeopardize the rest of your future and career in real estate. It's a big city, small town, Dom.
Yeah, no, I know. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't, thinking wrong.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did he lock it up yet? Has he written the purchase offer? Has he gotten it going yet?
He still has not locked it up. And I told him, I said, lock it up. Just send him a purchase agreement, but he has not done that yet either. And I said, do you want me to send it for you?
Wait, why isn't he going to him personally? Why? I understand.
So the people live out of state. Okay.
Okay.
They were here. He happened to just walk over and say, hey, what are you guys doing? What's going on with the house? He lives across the street.
Yeah.
And, developed a relationship. He did everything right. He's been listening to Bigger Pockets and everything. So, the guy said, hey, we'll sell it to you. We just got to clear it out first, because it was a emotional attachment to the home. They wanted to get everything out of the home. But I told him, I was like, man, before they leave back to Virginia, you need to get this agreement signed.
Yeah. So again, throwing out
he's
the
telling me the
one-liner.
holdup is that he has to have a contractor walk through to figure out the costs. And I'm like, man, this is a home run.
What?
You have no idea how much of a home run this is as your first deal.
Yep. So again, the one-liners, he who hesitates loses.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. And the other thing, Dom, what I would tell him to do too, is I would say, listen, do you have an attorney? If not, I can refer you a couple of them. And what that does is a couple of things. Most of them say no. They say no. Okay, not a problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write up a purchase offer. So you're locking them in. I'm going to get you an attorney. Okay. And I say, look, he has to look at it first because he has to give it his blessing first. Okay. And then that way they're not thinking, okay, I have to sign a purchase offer. I don't know what I'm signing. I'm going to be nervous. So what I'm doing is that I'm already easing them in regards to not having to worry about signing all these documents. I never use the word documents, just like you do purchase offer. So I mentally get them locked in, and then I get her over and say, look, I'm going to send this over to you. And I'm also going to CC on the attorney. Okay. And then what I do is I make sure I contact the other attorney, say, hey, listen, I'm sending you a purchase offer. I want to buy this house. I need you to make sure that you guys get in contact with each other. And then I also, in the email, I put both their phone numbers, both their contact information. I put on there, please, everybody confirm receipt of this email. Okay. And if they answer, yes, we have an attorney, great. Who's your attorney? So I can get this over to him so he can take a look at this purchase offer for you, because I don't want you doing anything until he looks at it first. At the same time, it's going to be an all cash as is property. Okay. And being that there is an emotional attachment to this person's house and your guy lives across the street, I would add to be like, listen, I appreciate you sending, I appreciate you actually, having me buy this property because I live here and this house deserves to be brought back. And I want to see a great family going in there, because now it's going to be time for a new generation of people to go through there. And I appreciate the opportunity of you actually giving it to me so I can make sure this neighborhood stays fantastic. Okay. Lock them. I am just, how long ago was he there talking with him?
Listen, this has been going on for 2 weeks now, Joe. I text him every day and ask him, has he locked it up? And I think he's getting sick of me texting him.
You're giving me heart pains right now. Oh my God.
He's giving me heart pains that I can't, he won't even, like, I said, let's partner on it. But it's deeper than that. Yes, I don't know, but I'm hoping he locks it up.
Yeah, he's probably going to get between 160 and 180 for the property if it's in West Arundecoit. I'm making the minimums or maximums here. I mean, if you take it out, max out. Oh my God.
Yeah, great area. So
is the holdup him, or do you think the holdup is the seller? Because obviously
it's him 100%. It's his first deal. He's overthinking it.
Man, so he is, no offense to anybody, he is what I call a sea urchin. He overanalyzes. Now there are good ones and bad ones. The ones that see it and they get out of their own way. He does not. You need to get in there and.
I walked through it with him. I mean, I told him, and I said, "This is a home run for your first deal." I go, "This is unbelievable for your first deal," but he won't do it. I don't know what I'm going to text him again today. Don't worry.
Here's the thing too. You got to realize, we'll we have VAs that make our calls, and there's people out there who actually focus on non-owner occupied houses in the suburbs, houses that are, because it shows in the county records who the mailing address is, and if they're non-owner occupied, or especially out of state, they're going to get a phone call from somebody else. Okay. Now, don't let it be one of our people, one of our VAs. Okay. And why don't, I mean, he's obviously scared. And if he's brand new, I think you need to get in there and help him out.
I'm trying.
Either that or get him on the call while verbally slap him over Zoom.
Well, so the thing is, this as his first one, he can put the sweat equity in and do a lot of this work himself, where he can get out of it for less than 10 grand, probably. If he puts it himself and puts the floor in himself, he can really get away with that, like really have a home run and do it. But I don't know. I'm working on it though, Joe. It's just, I just wanted to know that.
I'm having palpitations right now, just knowing that. I thought even.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is there's 2 more on that street that he has contacts with also that are vacant, and he still won't pull the trigger.
Well, I think you need to get him comfortable with that and really get in there and help him out. you know? Especially all of us are nervous during our first deal, but I mean, he's working with you, obviously you've got experience, and he won't sell it to you, but he won't buy it.
I don't know. He said it's also his wife. I mean, maybe I should have said that. His wife is very, very conservative, so he's trying to get her on board. But listen,
Yeah.
I want to steal the whole show here, Joe, by asking.
No, you're not. Here's the thing. What I like, because the morning meetings are a little bit usually more, a lot more interactive and a lot, it's more personable. So these things are good to get out. Plus it helps people too. Okay. Another thing too, especially what I've noticed is that, and you'll see this, whenever people get involved in real estate and there's a spouse, husband or wife, I always tell people, especially with the REIA groups, bring them down and include them, whether it be on a Zoom meeting or whether it be in person, because our spouses know each other for, who we are, not for being real estate investors, not for being able to, it's a whole different ballgame. So if you include them and they actually see and hear from other people, it will instill in them a lot more confidence, in their spouse saying, hey, you know what? Okay, go ahead and do it. Or, because they obviously, it's their first deal. They've never done real estate.
Yeah.
So I would definitely encourage that. Okay.
I know it's going to sound a little bit out of the way, but I think it's completely applicable to this situation. But one of the suggestions, and you won't be surprised that I'm making this because I'm the president of Freedom First, but if the person actually decided to be involved with real estate investment organizations and groups, it becomes a really easy way of, particularly if you have a husband and a wife, and getting exposure to how some of the things work. In the situation, Dom, that you're talking about, I think that to me, it's sort of obvious that this person hasn't been to any of maybe our meetings or been exposed to them, because I think that when a deal like this came to them, they would immediately jump on it because they have a different level of confidence. And the part that Joe was just talking about is really having both people have this level of confidence. And I mean, it's a way of that person actually being able to sort of, for sake of better words, get to the next step and feel more comfortable because they can see more people doing the sorts of things that it sounds like they have an interest in doing. So, so one suggestion would be to invite them on one of the calls, or to have them come to one of the sessions. The first two sessions, you can come for free, and no one is going to basically ask you anything, So, so that's a thought right there. And as I indicated, when there are two people, now and it all depends on the working relationship between the two individual, a husband and a wife, or whatever. And it's one of those things where now you have someone else that's providing input. It's not just coming from that one individual, and they can see a different level and a different view of how people are addressing the same type situation. So just throwing that out as a possibility for you.
Yeah.
I've definitely invited them to FFREIA, but maybe I just need to grab them by the collar and he can really listen.
If I were you, I would go there, sit down with them, say, here's the deal. If you're not going to do it, I'll do it. I'm going to pay you $10,000 to walk away from this deal. Do it right in front with the wife. And she'll be like, wait a second, why are you paying $10,000 to walk away from the deal? Is the deal that great?
Yeah.
Just a suggestion. I don't know if anyone else have any suggestions here?
we're all in the green.
Yeah, I don't know,
I do,
Joe.
but mine's
I
not
don't know.
nice.
I'm sorry.
I was just saying I do, but mine's not nice.
Oh,
I would just cut him out and buy it myself and then sell it to him if he wants it still.
Yeah, you can't, well,
Oh, man.
I don't know. See, yeah, the problem's the wife and somebody has to, and I understand it. And
Yeah.
you've got to, the whole conversation should really be with the wife, not the husband. So, sit down
You're
and
right. You're right, Joe.
sit down and talk to her or something, because she's out, I don't want to say a housewife, but it's not what she does. And so, they bought their home, it's the residence. Investing or real estate is not what she does. So, that's the hurdle.
Yeah.
So either we have to resolve that or give me the street name and I'll go over and I'll buy them.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Oh, man. I'm calling my VA.
Yeah.
Well,
But I like the idea of perhaps, sitting down with them as a couple and saying, look, I'll partner with you. If you don't want to do it, if you're nervous, whatever, I'll partner with you and do it that way, because she's the problem. So,
Yeah.
and if you don't want to partner with them, I'll partner with them. There you go.
Oh, I want a partner. I've offered.
Well, there you go. Then, partner with them.
I've brought them the lender. I've got everything lined up, ready to go.
Yeah. Well,
Man.
sit down, and tell her, look, if you're concerned, I'll do it with you.
Yeah.
This is a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know why you're even still on the Zoom call. I would have been gone already to their house. So, yeah.
I'm just trying to think, how many streets are there in West Arundequoit? Maybe I can go through them alphabetically. Yeah.
It's a great area. You'll do 160 to 180 there all day long, if not more than that. So, and just say, hey, look, it's, I get it. And by the way, we're not speaking bad about the wife here at all. And Joe,
No.
100% correct. She just doesn't know, and it's not, and you can't blame her for it. She's just trying to protect her and her family, and I totally get it. Okay, but she knows her husband for doing what he does, not being in real estate. And yeah, you need to go over there.
I'm trying every day. I try and get over there.
Try.
Corner from.
Yeah, just show up at their door.
Oh, I do. Our kids go to school together. That's how I know them.
Oh man.
I put a clock on it. I would put a clock on it and say, look, I'll partner with you. I'll help you. But if you don't move on this in the next 2 weeks, I'm going for it.
2 weeks.
Well, I mean, he's being nicer than most of us on this call.
Yeah, you're right, Anthony.
I'm just saying, man, but put a clock on it and just look, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it, because otherwise somebody's going to do it.
Yeah.
And I told them, bring in all these contractors, and I said, you got to be careful. I said, somebody will steal this deal from you very quickly. So I go, you bring a contractor here that's going to rehab for this, they can just buy the property, do it themselves, and sell it. I go, so you got to be careful getting people in on this.
I would elaborate when you're talking about partnering with them. Let them know you'll take the reins, though, that you'll do all, you'll direct everything. So that way he feels a little more comfortable. So then that way he can kind of take the back seat of it. He's thinking that he's partnering with you and you're bringing maybe the financing and stuff, but then he's still going to be liable for orchestrating the whole choir, right? So maybe if you let him know, you can just sit in the background and collect a check in that type of partnership.
Yeah.
That, and I think Adam, I don't know how you feel about this, Adam, but I know how he was talking about maybe doing the work himself, sweat equity. In this kind of situation, there's enough meat on that bone there. I would get a professional in there to get it done ASAP, because I mean, you're going to save what? To put flooring down, what are you going to save? $3,000, $2,000-$3,000,
and your hold costs. If
Yes.
he's doing it on the side, it's probably going to take him, close to a week to get it done. If he's coming in after hours and and,
Yep.
you know, putting 2 or 3 hours in every day or something, then, you know, his hold cost in West Arundecoy are going to be a couple thousand a month as well. Just
Yeah.
taxes.
Well, taxes and obviously he's borrowing the money. So, yeah. And Dom, I would definitely, I love what Adam was talking about. Make sure you're the one spearheading everything and just get in there and get it done. That's what
Yeah.
I would do.
I've pitched that. I have pitched that to. I have a crew that works for me, and I said that handle all my rehabs. I said, listen, I'll get my guys in here. We'll handle everything. You know, you don't have to do anything. You brought the deal to the table. That's good enough. You know, let me take it from here. But I'm texting them right now. I'm giving them 3 options.
You better put it in all caps. Oh man, oh man. I love having these kinds of discussions with a group here because all of us can relate. And I'll tell you what, it helps me, it helps a lot of people, which is really good. And by the way, if anybody has anything else you want to go over, please feel free to ask. If you have questions or you want to add something here, we like to hear from as many people as possible here. It's not just about getting on here and listening. We want to be able to learn from each other, especially in a small group like this. It's fantastic. So please feel free to add. I want to know if he responds back to you.
Yeah,
I did love Joe's suggestion about in front of his wife, be like, I'll pay you 10 grand to walk from it, you know, if you close. So that's a heck of an offer there.
Well,
Yeah.
so that's the thing. So when I've offered I told him I would pay him an assignment fee right in front of his wife. And then when I say that, she's like, oh, so it's like a good deal, like you said. But then a day later, when they go home and talk about it, I guess she's like, you know, all these worries, which any normal person would have if they don't invest. You know, and I've tried to put the bug in her ear, and a little backstory since no one else is talking. He wanted to invest in the city, and she was anti-investing in the city. So that was already a little alarming because I presented him a few deals before, and you know, she just didn't want to go through with it. So then he comes across one on his street, you know, and that's a no-brainer. So it's just I think maybe I just I'll take him out to dinner or something this weekend.
Well,
I was going to say, maybe instead of saying it as an assignment, right, do it because an assignment, he's still signing his name on the paperwork. I'm saying do it as a handshake deal, and then your name's on the paperwork. He has no liability.
Yeah. And tell them it's walk away money. This is, and then go up. Because if you do it with them, you're going to make 30,000 anyways, you know, $20,000 to $30,000 anyways. Offer him 10, go to 15.
Yeah.
And then if he takes a 15, you make way more money. And I love what Anthony said. Give him a timeline. Say, here's the deal, because I just can't see this. And you say, look, if you don't move on it, I'm going to move on it. And here's what's going to happen. Because I want to be respectful to you, when I take this deal and I sell it, I'm going to give you $10,000. That way he can't be mad at you. I'm going to give you, let's see him get mad at you for giving him $10,000. You think you say he's not going to take it? Oh, I'm mad at you. Okay. And we want to know what happens with this, Tom, next week. Cause I know we've got our, I don't know if you're going to be there next week, but definitely 2 weeks from now on our evening one, we want to know what happened.
Okay.
Okay. Because this is going to be very interesting. The scenarios we run into in real estate is just, it's kind of comical and mind boggling at the same time. Okay.
The only thing I'm going to say is this is why it's really important to make sure that you and your spouse are aligned on your goals. That's it.
Yep. Exactly. You know, you're right, Andy. And yeah. Well, let's hope Dom gets us situated then fast.
I just sent the text. We'll see.
Anybody have any questions, by the way, they want to go over? That's been brought to mind since we've been talking over here.
Not really, but I will say that the markets for building materials are going to get real ugly real fast.
Ugh.
They're already ugly. They're getting worse.
Really?
So yeah.
Ugh.
So lumber prices are starting to come down a little bit because guess what? There's no snow on the ground, so they can actually cut trees. And they're still working through their backlog and they can't get people. But the real price increases are on all of the other stuff that goes into interiors. Anything that uses any type of plastic, which guess what? That's probably 80% of products produced, is skyrocketing because of the oil prices. So siding, roofing, flooring, you name it, it's all going up. We just got our second double-digit price increase on appliances. So they
What?
gave us a 16% price increase in February, and they just put in another 12% price increase like a week ago. Cabinetry, 7% increases across the board for fuel surcharges. No, their cost of production skyrocketed, so now they have to make more money to balance the books. So just if you're budgeting, budget at least 15 to 20% higher if you're 3 to 6 months out.
Jeez. Now, Andy, you know this because obviously you're working on the 330 unit apartment complex, right?
Yes, with Anthony.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. That's right. Forgot. It's right. He's over there. Oh my God.
That's why I'm not looking for anything right now. I've got plenty of work. Plenty of work.
Yeah.
You don't need to sleep.
And I didn't tell you this yet, but I've got 3 steel doors that are coming in that need to be installed into 3 of those garage bays so we can lock up all that product. So
Okay.
that's going to be on your list too, and we're going to need them painted and
You better get an armed guard.
installed. So that's what we're doing.
I'm looking
Yeah.
for contractors, so if anybody knows anybody looking for work, they need to add.
Oh man. I was actually going to call you today, Anthony, about working on a property for us, but I don't know how busy you are, but we'll talk about that afterwards.
All right, let's talk.
And, yeah, so I know we're getting pretty close here to everybody here, so I just wanted to make sure we got everybody all situated and all set with everything here. So if everybody's good, and because I know I got to get running over here, I can't believe I've actually been on this long here. I'm going to end up having to cut out over here, but I don't know if anyone has anything else want to go over, or if we're going to call it a morning and everybody go do real estate. It's up to you guys. Everybody all set?
Yep, think so. I see nodding
All right.
heads.
All right. I can't tell. I'm doing this thing on the phone. Everything is so, I don't even know. But I appreciate everybody being on here today. You guys have a great morning. And we'll see you guys next week and in 2 weeks for the evening Aries meeting. All right. Have a great
Awesome.
day. Thank you, everybody, and go do real estate.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
See you
Great.
guys. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.